Nope. Nope. Be warned, spoilers start here. I didn't like Nope, and I'm a bit sad about that actually, because I wanted to like it more than I liked it, which is a shame. It has a few kind of problems. It's a very interesting movie, without question. It is, unfortunately, for my money, a bit too long and a bit kind of too meandering. I mean, there's a lot going for it. I think it's a very interesting film. Just to be clear, regards to Jordan Peele, I like Jordan Peele a lot.
Okay.
I like him as a comedian and an actor. I like the Key and Peele show, and I like Get Out. I thought Get Out was an excellent film. I haven't seen Us, and I'm going to go and kind of revisit that now. Oh, my phone's in shot. That's not very good, is it? I'm going to go revisit that, or visit that, I think, and check it out. Nope was kind of dull, actually. I thought it was a bit sort of boring. It has a problem that I've heard a lot recently. I hear you Gen Zers, you know, you young'uns,
Get off my lawn.
like to watch films and TV with the subtitles on. And I've also heard that, you know, some other people say that sound mixes in film and TV have got worse. And one of the reasons younger people are doing that is because the sound mixes aren't good. Older people doing it as well. I had to check that I was in a cinema with a good sound system with someone else who goes there on the regular, because a lot of the dialogue was very mumbled to me, and I had spent a lot of time kind of craning in and trying to sort of, you know, figure out what was going on in that sense. It's a cast of very excellent actors. Keith David's in here as well, which is always nice to see, be it for kind of a brief period. But I found a lot of the dialogue quite hard to understand. I think generally speaking, it was, maybe I'm just being thick, but I found it quite hard to follow quite often. I do think I got the gist of it, and I will discuss that, and I hope I've kind of got the idea. You got Daniel Kaluuya coming back to do another Jordan Peele movie. Daniel Kaluuya, as we all know from the Mitchell and Webb look.
And what do you say to the claim that the exams have got easier?
Which is up? Which is up?
Stephen Yeun, who gets everywhere. That guy does everything now, but he's great, so that's cool too. KK Palmer is a lead, and Brandon Prayer. And they're all great. Michael Wincott's in there as well. It's a film very much preoccupied with the concept of spectacle and the concept of being unable to take your eyes away from something tragic or violent or disturbing. And it does this in the kind of the obvious kind of metaphorical ways, but it has a few kind of very literal things in it. It specifically recalls televised tragedy in one section. So you're thinking about kind of Christine Chubbuck or Arbad Dwyer, the famous televised suicides. There isn't a televised suicide in this, but there's something of that nature. There's the fact that people will pay to witness violence and brutality is used a lot. The concept of literally not being able to look at something in a slightly Medusa way is there as well. It has, you know, it's a less obvious kind of metaphorical device than the one used in Get Out, which is quite sort of clear. This is there, but I felt like I had to look for it. There's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't find the pursuit of doing so particularly interesting. You know, it's 2 hours 15, and there are parts of it where I just felt I didn't really need to be there, so I found it a bit of an ordeal to watch, honestly. Not because it was disturbing, just because I found it a bit dull. You have cinematography by Hoyte van Hoytena, whose name I'm probably saying wrong. Hoyte van der Papenqueef is a joke for Duncan and Duncan alone, so enjoy that, mate. So, you know, this is Christopher Nolan's successor. The movie is shot, Christopher Nolan's DOP, the successor to Wally Pfister on his movies. I think he was doing it since Interstellar, and he did Dunkirk and Tenet. It's a really beautiful looking movie. I think it's really visually very arresting a lot of the time, and it's one of those movies where you can imagine them just taking a still out and using it as a poster. I mean, it looks beautiful, sounds great, great music. I can't remember the name of the composer for this one, but it's the composer that's returned from all of Jordan Peele's movies. So I really like the sound design. It's beautifully edited as well. The mechanics of it are great. Like, I think it's a very well made film. In terms of its pacing and its writing, I just didn't find it that interesting. I do definitely think that, you know, taken as a story, I think it's interesting, and I think it could be pared back to something shorter, or maybe kind of like a part of an anthology, maybe. It does a lot of what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood did. This is very much a film about films, and most filmmakers seem to want to have a swing at a movie about movies. Like, Michael Wincott plays like a legendary cinematographer whom we're kind of kept at a pace from, and his kind of face isn't revealed to us till quite late on in the process. The Daniel Cleary and KK Palmer's characters are the descendants of a black jockey that was used in the first kind of cinematograph plate of the guy riding a horse, and that's used to comment on the erasure of people of colour from Hollywood history. That's quite interesting, and they're part of a dynasty of people who wrangle horses. Stephen Yeun is a former child star who witnessed this kind of tragedy, and he trades on the tragedy of the past. Things like that. I think all the layups are quite clever. But honestly, I spent a lot of it craning my ear in, trying to listen to the dialogue, enjoying a lot of the music and digesting and undigesting music, and being quite bored and just waiting for it to end, which is very frustrating as an experience, because again, I was kind of riveted by Get Out. And I do tend to sort of err on the side of movies. You know, movies should be concise, and I know I liked Midsummer, which takes the absolute piss with its runtime, but I was completely riveted by Midsummer. This was shot in the IMAX format, and I saw it on quite a small screen at the Dome Cinema in Worthing, which is a beautiful Victorian cinema that I experienced for the first time. Perhaps I need to watch it again on IMAX to get the full experience. You know, I don't know, maybe I was just doing it wrong, but it was quite a frustrating, slow experience. Would not recommend. Here are the spoilers. If I put my hands in there like this, when I scrub through on the timeline, I can find the exact time code, which is a lesson I've learned. YouTube insider tips, bit of inside baseball for you there. The farmers, or the ranchers, are menaced by what appears to be a spacecraft, a flying saucer, and there's lots of discussion of UFOs and stuff like that. It turns out to be a living creature, and the film kind of feeds you that as you go, and it's got this kind of like flying stingray thing that sucks people up. It's this kind of minimalist thing with a hole in it. There are people drilling outside. I'm going to have to deal with that. I'm back. The creature itself is revealed to be, it's quite cool. It's a minimalist design. It's kind of this dart-shaped sorcery thing with the hole in it, and it sucks people up and digests them. So there's these quite kind of grotesque sequences, and a lot of implied horror within it, in that people get sucked up into the craft, and then as the craft flies around, you hear them screaming within it until they're digested, and then anything non-organic is kind of spat out. It's kind of gross and grim, and you know, I still didn't find it particularly scary, if I'm honest, but there we go. Also, the craft itself is kind of made to burst outwards and becomes a sort of jellyfish thing, and I think that's some of the most visually arresting stuff in it, is seeing the kind of jellyfish creature. What it's talking about mostly is that it's about the characters' relationships to nature and animals and things like that, and our relationships to that, on top of the kind of thing of spectacle, because the creature won't attack you if you don't look it in the eye, right? So it's like what you hear about, I think they say that about bears, don't they, and chimps, like you don't look them in the eye and they won't attack you, because it's viewed as a kind of dominant thing. So if you look at the creature, it'll eat you, but if you don't, it won't, and you have to resist the urge to witness the spectacle. And Daniel Kaluuya's approach is that you can break it like a horse, so you need to treat it like kind of equestrian training and break it. I didn't realise that. I had to have that explained to me, because as far as I could tell from all the mumbling, it was a flying saucer that's allergic to bunting. Because at the end they break it by flying bunting at it. I don't know enough about equestrianism to know what that actually fucking meant, so, you know, I thought it was a flying saucer that was allergic to bunting. But he kind of wants to break it like you would break a horse and tame it, and then they're able to kind of lure it into a trap. Stephen Yeun's character had an experience as a child he was a sitcom star in a sitcom with a chimpanzee, and the chimpanzee went on a rampage and killed his co-stars. And at the end of the rampage, the chimpanzee comes up and gives him a fist bump, and then it's shot by the authorities, and he's traumatized by it. He spends the whole time looking at the chimp. It's important because it's about how you do and don't look at things, and again, how you don't observe tragedy, or do. And he believes that you can have an understanding with the creature. So he's buying horses off of our two main characters and then putting on a big spectacle at his ranch where the horses are fed to the creature. And he thinks he's kind of got an understanding with it, whereas Daniel Clear's character is like, no, you have to break them. You have to work with them and understand them properly and cooperate with them, but you have to break them first. And that leads to Stephen Yeun's character being eaten with a bunch of spectators. A lot of time is dedicated to the backstory of one of the characters being traumatized by a sitcom chimp. That's fine. The thing is, Stephen Yeun's character, for the most part, is quite thinly drawn and isn't in as much of the film as you'd think. And some of the stuff with the chimpanzee in the TV broadcast is some of the best made, most powerful stuff in the film. But we don't really know much about that character, so it's a bit like, okay, good. A lot of that stuff feels like a treading water to me. I don't know, and so the brother and sister of the thing, they managed to team up with a kind of essentially a Curry's worker and the cinematographer guy to team up and take down the monster. The monster has like an EMP effect, so it turns off electric. So Michael Wincott's character brings a hand-cranked film camera. So we're talking again about the mechanics of film, and I do think it has that in common with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's kind of about this sort of Dust Bowl-y part of California where movies are made that you see less of, and the mechanics of filmmaking. I'm not really sure what that's in service of. Again, I think it's a film about observation and spectacle, as films quite often are, but I just don't think any of that was done powerfully enough to engage me. And I think I understood the movie. I'm not going to pretend that I did, but I think I kind of got what it was going for, but I found it quite unengaging. Which is a shame. It's not something I want to say. Like, I really liked Get Out. Haven't seen Us, like I said. I really like what Jordan Peele does. And I was excited to see this, and I just thought the marketing for it was kind of like, this looks kind of nuts. I'm down for a sort of nuts kind of blockbuster spectacle. In its final throes, it becomes a bit like Jaws. You know, it becomes a bit like Jaws or something like that, or kind of creature feature, or Moby Dick, person versus nature type affair. I found it boring. That's all I got. I'm sorry. So if you have seen Nope, you haven't seen Nope, do comment below. Please throw in your 2 pennies. And we'll be back with some more stuff soon. I saw this, as I said, at the Dome Cinema in Worthing. As you know, I've just moved to the South Coast this year, and the Dome is this amazing turn of the 20th century cinema with the preserved auditoria, and they've got the old projectors and stuff in the lobby for you to go and see, and it's apparently one of the oldest functioning cinemas still in the UK, and I've got a bit of a weird boner for old cinemas, so I was in Hog's Heaven going to see a movie at that cinema, which is just down the coast from me. So if you are in the area, go check out the Worthing Dome. What an amazing place. Maybe don't see Nope there. I've got to say that the being an old auditorium, the screen in Worthing Dome isn't very big. The sound system, from what I'm told from consulting with others, is fine, so I don't think that was the issue. Maybe I should see Nope on IMAX to see it in its true format. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this review. Tune in again, and goodbye.